Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bangkok, Thailand. Day number 3 of competition. I'm Ted Barton, along with Mark Hanratty, joining us from a studio in Nottingham. But coming up next is the pairs free program, and after the short, the Canadian team of DeRoche and Thrasher, who despite some mistakes, their overall quality and performance have them in the lead by slightly over 1 point. Close behind is Gao and Zhang of China, who have incredible throws and already possesses silver and 13 points towards the Junior Grand Prix final. They will also push for the title. The two American teams of Moss and Galbavi and Yarmark and Witowski are essentially tied for the bronze at the moment with 55 points. 12 teams, 9 nations. Pairs free starts now. Welcome everyone to day number 3 in Bangkok, Thailand. Junior Grand Prix Series, week number 4, as we fly over the mall in which hosts this arena here has done so for the past 3 years, or the past 2 years. This is the third for the Junior Grand Prix hosting. I'm Ted Barton, Mark Hanratty, joining us from your studio in Nottingham. Such a long ways away, but you feel so close, Mark.
Yeah, it's great to be joining again for this penultimate day in Bangkok of competition, as we see the judges and the referee, Mr. Wang, officials on the technical panel as well. And we've had earlier today further chats with other members of just technical panels, the referee of the ice dance event, and we're so privileged to be able to have those kind of conversations, and I'm just really glad that we have access to that kind of information, which we will share as the event goes on.
Yeah, and this, I was looking at today's sort of roster of skaters, both in the pairs and in the women, and I was watching the practice sessions, the last 2 groups of the women, and wow, it's going to be a battle. There's so many good skaters in these 2 events. Now there's 36 entries in the women, so there's going to be some skaters that don't have the same resources and are at different stages of development. But as we saw last week in Rize, I think the last 3 groups were really outstanding, and it was quite a battle. So looking for more of that here in Bangkok. And this pairs event, although they didn't all skate terrific, they did make some mistakes, both the leading teams. There are some very good teams in this event. So, and we know that the team from China, who's currently in second place, this is it. This free program means everything. They have huge throws, and they're going to want to have a win or a silver medal to really punch their ticket for sure. But anything third or fourth, it can leave it up to the last event, which will come up in Gdansk in a few weeks.
Yeah, and the Chinese team, we can hope to see the quad twist that we saw from them in their first Junior Grand Prix assignment. But even just looking at this group, there were, within this first group, 2 triple twists in the short program. So that just gives an indication of the advancement of the entire field, because I don't think that would have been the case when I first joined you on the Junior Grand Prix 4 seasons ago, Ted, that you would have the bottom group after the short with 2 triple twists.
Well, listen, we went through a couple years where the teams in the final group would be doing a double twist and maybe a double throw. There was a couple years of I don't want to say weak. It was the skaters were at a very early stage of development. They weren't seasoned competitors, and they had been new partnerships perhaps. But that has since changed. Last year was really good, and this year is very strong as well. So we're seeing more depth, as we have in the women as well, more depth. We still have our developmental teams and developmental skaters in the women's. You'll see that, of course, a little bit later today. But the depth of strong skaters is growing, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and I think for me, I always have such deference to the amazingness of this discipline, but I'm also so conscious that perhaps the pairs discipline, it's more challenging to facilitate insofar as these pair skaters do need a different kind of quality and space on the ice. Yeah. So we've seen through the women's and the men's short program, we've heard and relayed many stories of the single skaters who will perhaps train on public sessions because they just don't have the resources and they don't have sessions whereby there are a host of different sessions for them to train on. The pair skaters simply cannot train on busy public sessions, the pairs elements. They need the resources of quiet ice, and so that's why I think there are fewer entries for one.
No, I completely agree, and we know that most skating clubs around the world, although they probably like watching pairs, they have a very difficult time justifying giving paired teams more ice space when ice is of such great value to training of other athletes. So pairs always have a difficult time in getting enough time to train. Now, mind you, there are certain pair schools that sort of dominate, but just if you've a normal club, that's not very open to pairs because, as you said, to have two skaters skating side by side or doing a throw or a lift or whatever is too nerve-wracking for other skaters. Now, we've seen it happen because good coaches design the session so that you could fit a pair team in there, but maybe they're just working basically on their single skills. I don't know, but it is a more difficult discipline to get the ice time required to reach this level for sure.
And that's probably, one of the factors in why we see the strong nations in different disciplines. And as we look at the Chinese skater on screen now, there was a period of time where there looked like there was going to be an emptiness in the Chinese pair skating community after having such dominance. But now we're seeing on the Junior Grand Prix the return of that Chinese pair skating quality that has been so successful in the past. Yeah,
we didn't see the skaters from China for a number of years during COVID, so we really didn't know what was happening. But when they came back on the circuit, you got, whoa, there's some really good single skaters and pair skaters as well. I want to go back to a word that you use, amazingness. I like it.
Amazingness?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a real word, but it kind of works.
There was a word that you used. Yeah, there's a word you used yesterday that I was going to commit to memory, but obviously that's showcasing how bad my memory is. It escapes me today, one day later.
Hopefully it was a real word.
Yeah, I'm quite good at creating my own. Actually, I was quite humoured, Ted, that there are people that have watched the Junior Grand Prix and enjoyed our commentary, and then they've gone on to highlight said moments of the noises that I make. So it's not just words that I can use to articulate my interest in what the skaters are doing, but also sounds of aghast and excitement.
The noises of Mark Hanratty. It's a new album.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they're normally half of them probably only dogs can hear with a high-pitched squeal of excitement. But
and I thought
I'm invested in what
I was thinking today. I thought, I think we were kind of dull yesterday. I don't think we had our spirit. No, I don't want to criticize us, but but I am. No, I think we just didn't have our sense of humor. We covered the event fine, so gotta have some fun.
Maybe
here.
I think well, I don't know about you, Ted, as we're watching these junior pairs, but I'm very conscious and conscientious of the importance we have in discussing the Road to Milano competition next week. So I feel that's such a kind of heavy but exciting event. Maybe we could just need to. I've got all the notes for those skaters to the right of my table now. I need to disconnect from that and get a bit more.
Yeah, and just to set the audience up, we will be going to Beijing to cover the Olympic qualifying event. It's the first time the ISU has ever sort of owned that event themselves and producing it. So we're really excited and honored to have been asked to go and cover that. So that's going to be exciting. And even though it's another week on our thing, it's kind of a break because it's a little bit different from the Junior Grand Prix. So here we go, the Paris Free program, day number 3. On week number 4 on the ISU Junior Grand Prix, 3 more weeks to come. That's cute. That's nice. Our team representing Spain, 17-year-old Ines Moudden and 21-year-old Alejandro Lazaro Garcia. They were third. This is their third Junior Grand Prix season. They were the junior bronze medalists of Spain.
First year University of Economics and International Business for Ines and fourth year pharmacy degree student for Alejandro. I just love the connection that they had before they started, when they shared a hug before they started, and then the check-in between Ines Moudden and Alejandro Garcia from Spain after the performance. And I think it's really important to know, as we said in the short program, that this team has not had the chance to prepare for this event properly. She had to have a knee surgery in May, so could not skate at all for 2 months, couldn't jump for 3, and so that gives you some indication as to where they are at. Same program, I think, as last year, and it's a great program.
Yeah.
But they just haven't had the mileage on it this
No,
year.
it is. It's a great program. He's level 1 twist here. You see no split or arms at the side. Here's the throw, double Salchow. That was nice. Just it's a cute couple. It's a cute program. It's charming, and they are charming.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. And this is a good lift. He's so strong up on those lifts, but he lost his balance in the second lift. We'll look at that in just a moment. And you can see him work really hard to save her. There's the throw, double Lutsen, or flip. And there's the pressure lift. That goes up pretty good. Let's see what happens here. Right there, he starts to go back on his heels and then puts the foot back. And he looked like he hit his head.
And I mean, just shows what amazing mental strength Alejandro has. And just the way, I mean, this makes me think our sports people, our ice skating community, we are so tough. Look at him there, finishing that program after that torrid fall. What a legend for doing. I just hope he gets good.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. But they are such a cute couple and so supportive of each other. And you can see the skating is one thing, the partnership is another. And
they've had this. Sorry, Ted. I was going to say they've had the same kind of tech content for a few seasons, but they couldn't up that this year because they didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So hopefully, it's amazing that they're even here, given the knee surgery that she had.
Yeah.
Hopefully, with more time, they can still add to that tech content.
Yeah, so supportive of each other. 66.93. They are the first team out in the free program with a total competition score of 104.89 for Ines and Alejandro from Spain. And there is our next team representing Great Britain. 17-year-old Zarah Wood, 22-year-old Alex Lapsky, British junior champions. Mark?
And Zarah will be turning 18 on Sunday. She and her twin sister will celebrate, hopefully, upon seeing a good skate here for Zarah and Alex as they skate to music from the Adams family. Zarah Wood and Alex Lapsky complete their free skate, and there were so many intricate pieces of choreography. The choreography by Lloyd Jones, the ice dancer, so much intricacy. Even the finish position, incredibly difficult to sustain that after a 10-element free skate. But beyond that, there will still be some issues that the team will be frustrated with, the double axels and the throw triple loop. Just see Zarah looking frustrated.
I thought Zarah did a great job on the throw triple Salka, I think it was near the end. She really fought for that landing. She's strong. She made that thing work. And there were some good moments to that. As you said, the choreography actually, I don't want to say complicated things. It was good, but it adds a lot more energy into that program and precision. Here's a look at the twist. Good split. So that comes in at a base level, though. And there's the group 3 and a hip lift. And it looked pretty good. Little bit of rough turns there by Alex, and slows it down near the end. Then comes down heavy, and they have to stop that dismount. And here's the throw, triple loop on a lean, but she keeps on her feet. You can see she's a fighter. This is for sure.
Oh yeah. And we were discussing while they were performing for Zarah and Alex, they've got such a great support network with Chris Biaggi and Zarah's mum Zoe and Lloyd, their choreographer, and they're trying so hard to create a centre in Swindon. And I'm sure they would love to have the access to the ice time to be able to practice the pair elements like lifts more. This was great. Triple Zarko,
super.
The penultimate element in the program.
And he did a great throw as well, so that worked well. And they're going to dwell, especially Zarah will dwell on what didn't go well. There were some things that did go well there as well. And, the big thing is if you want to skate your best, and maybe that wasn't their best for what they do in practice, but there were some good moments.
Yeah, good to see Alex there trying to make sure that they're connected in the kiss and cry.
Yeah, totally.
It's that fine line, isn't it? Wanting so much, being frustrated with not showcasing what you're capable of, but then putting it in a box at some point and recognizing list is learned.
I think Zarah is a very determined, competitive skater who wants always to have that thrill of skating her best. And when just anything less than what she feels she can do, she's not going to be happy. It's a bit of a perfectionist thing, which isn't a bad thing because it drives you to be better, but it's trying to keep things in perspective at the same time. It's a building process.
Yeah. And now she's got to enjoy turning 18 on Sunday with her twin sister Zinnia. Amazing. It's fascinating seeing. I so admire I admire the frustration in part.
Yeah,
but
me
then
too.
Equally, you want to. But you're representing your country and you're in Bangkok and Thailand, and you weren't bad. It just wasn't as you wanted.
When I get stressed out, it's because I've done a bad job. It's not because other people. When I have not done a good job at something, and there's been a number of occasions when I comment, I don't do a good job, and I'm frustrated. So I understand that. It makes you better sometimes. Not always happy. 69.34 for the free program. That is first. Second team out, of course, in the event with a 111.65 for Zarah and Alex, and that'll put them for the moment at least into first place. Keep striving to be better. Try to keep things in perspective. It's a journey, and it has its highs and its lows.
Next to skate, representing the Czech.
Our next team represents Czechia, 16-year-old Johanka Zilkova and 21-year-old Matyas Becerra. Czech junior champions. This is the first junior Grand Prix.
And Johanka was still competing in single skating right up to last season, now fully committed to this pairs partnership.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Czechia's Johanka Zilkova and Matyas Rafael Becerra complete a free skate that showcases so many strengths. A team that is still very new to one another, new to the pairs discipline, and yet they bring to this partnership some individual strength, and that throw triple flip was a particular highlight. That's got a really good boost in the grade of execution, and rightly so.
Yeah, it has a double lutz throw on the planned program. So when they, launch that, I'm thinking double, and I'm going to my mind, well, that should look like a triple. So because it looked so easy, didn't have to fight for the landing. She was right on top of the blade. So we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. But you can see some good skills. She's particularly good skating skills, and very comfortable. As we take a look at these elements, just a triple toe loop by him, but just a double. She pops it into a double, so that's what the team will get. That's the difference in ice dance. There would have been value for the triple and value for the double added together. There's that toe triple. That's just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, fantastic. Double axles after. That was pretty solid. Well, he was a little shaky on the landing, but so I'm thinking, wow, this is way better. Look at that interesting entrance. His leg was over her waist. Now let's see what they get on this. 0, because she did not get low enough to count for the death spiral. So that they get 0 on that one element. There's the throw double loop. That was nicely executed. And here's this lift. Hand to hip. Going up looks okay. He shifts his feet. Starts his turn. He's scratching already, slowing this down a little bit. He's feeling a little, you can see he gets too far forward there. She then gets forward, and he has to bring it down for safety, which is the right thing to do. But that lift, had a problem from the start.
And I think I've said this before in previous Junior Grand Prix, the lifts, we hopefully won't see many big mistakes on them. They tend to can't go in a pairs program without as much obvious visible mistake as we see perhaps in the side-by-side jumps and the throws. However, they are so weighted in terms of value for the skaters, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Interesting, Ted, that Johanka and Matyas, they have Rennie Novotny, a former world champion, on their coaching staff, and they also have a lady Miroslava Hashkova, who is an ice dancer, and that coach also coaches synchro with Team Darlings. And that just again confirms perhaps that the skaters have to share ice with a whole lot of other different ice sports and different disciplines. This team probably unlikely to have prime time pair training ice. They're doing what they can with the coaches they can, supporting them the best they can. But
yeah, it's also good for them to see the other disciplines as well. You learn from that. 73.62 for Johanka and Matyas with a total competition score of 116.21. That'll put them for the moment, at least, into first place. Good skate, some nice qualities there. I'll be a little bit disappointed with that last lift, but wow, that throw triple flip, that was sweet. Double axles were good. Good start to the season for this team. Our next team, 15-year-old Mujun Hu and Zexuan Wang, he's 16, from China. No international competitions to note with this team yet, except for here.
Problems with the double axle and problems getting the death spiral call, but the triple twist, which they'll start with or have in the program, is amazing.
About things we've gone through, oh, it's hurting. Now it's history. I played all my cards, and that's what you've done too. Nothing more to say, no more yesterday. The winner takes it all, the loser stands small beside victory. That's her destiny. I was in your arms, thinking I'd belong there. I figured it made sense, building me a fence.
You know, it's interesting, Mark. This is a really good team on some of the elements, but also they've kept the program very simple for what we think, what it appears to be pretty highly skilled. And it tells me, and I don't know, I'm not sure if you have the research or not, that it's a relatively new team. So they're just gaining experience together because you know those throws are going to be triples. They're massive throws. And they can skate individually as well, but I'm not sure they've been together that long.
What's interesting with so many of the Chinese teams that we've seen over the years, there's somewhat of an interchangeable resource pool for the different skaters within the pairs. And I think what's poignant here is that irrespective of how long they've been together, they have an environment whereby they're being constructed to be two great pair skaters. Whether or not this is the team and the formation of the team that will last for a decade or not, I'm not sure, because the Chinese sometimes swap it up with the partnerships. But they've got everything that you'd expect to see from Chinese strong teams with regards to the technique, as we see triple toes.
And they're investing in this team by putting them out there, gaining experience in competition, even though they don't have all the big throws yet, and are still making some early on mistakes. Look at that huge throw double flip. I mean, that's going to be easily a triple. Here's this forward outside death spiral. It is the most difficult, has the highest base value, and this comes in at a level 2. So they're getting a really good, and a plus GOE. So they get a 4.23 points on that one element, and it's a difficult one, forward outside. That's why you don't see it very often. And here's the group 5 step lift. As we see him, he has really good turns. You can see he's on his blade, flowing across the ice. He's not scratching. Okay, a little bit of skid there, but he keeps that flow going. So the triple sock goes a little bit later, and that's an under rotation. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say about the forward outside death spiral, it's got about a third of a point higher than that of the back outside death spiral, and that higher too than the inside. And it's just so tricky to do, but it's interesting how we're seeing more and more use of it now because of its tangible value higher than the other edge entries.
You do see it. You do see it more from the Chinese teams, because I think it was. I don't know if it wasn't first done by the Chinese skaters, but it's been used mostly by them. It's a difficult position for the woman to get in, and also to make it aesthetically look good. So it is interesting. It has a slight advantage from a number perspective over the other ones, if you do it well, which they did. Yeah, 79.11. That is first in the free program so far, with a total competition score of 124.13 as they take the lead after the group number 1. Some good teams yet to come. This was an improvement over the last performance, I believe. Were they in Ankara, or where were they? I think it was Ankara.
Yeah, they were in Ankara, 5th in Ankara.
Yeah.
The following skaters may now take the ice.
And even with those elements that are a little bit more simple. So we will now watch the warm-up of group number 2. We had a lot of questions, I think, come in. We had those sent a little earlier this morning by Teresa. You want to get to it there, Mark?
Yes, we've actually got so many questions coming in.
Thank you.
Some of them, though, some of the teams just getting a little bit overexcitable, perhaps, on the warm-up here. Questions coming in, which we're very grateful for. Some of them more comedy than reality, we assume, but we might get to those funny ones later on. First one coming in from @deadly.ns. Where can I watch the upcoming programs for free? And I have to say, one of the amazing things is that the International Skating Union's YouTube channel offers fans and followers of the sport to be able to watch for free. I think that leads us to an interesting discussion point that we had yesterday we perhaps didn't touch on when I got questions in regarding the senior events. And I know that many die-hard skating fans will be very eager to see what will take place in Bergamo this weekend with the Lombardia Trophy. That's one of the Challenger Series events, and that's taking place concurrently with this competition. And that's a paid stream that fans have to pay for to be able to view that. And that's just facilitating more opportunities. We spoke about how we hope that we'll be able to see more and more skating for free.
Well, just so people understand, the Junior Grand Prix is free because television, although in Japan they do own the rights for the footage for sure, but generally all Junior Grand Prix can be seen by all countries around the world. When it comes to the Senior Grand Prix, then television rights are sold to certain countries, and those countries that own the television rights, they don't want it on a stream for free because it competes against their television. So the stream can be blocked out in certain countries who have the rights. So then you get the same situation when you get to the championships as well. So some countries don't have television rights, so it's the only place they can see it, and it's always available for them. But those countries that do have television networks that are wanting to buy the rights and have bought the rights, then it will be geo-blocked in that country generally for seniors Grand Prix and also for the ISU Championship. But the juniors, open to the world all the time, 24/7.
It's an interesting one, Ted, because I remember, when I'm thinking, sort of playing devil's advocate, I remember when I'd started skating in the mid-90s, and my parents, they wouldn't pay for Sky TV. And so we didn't get then access to all of the skating that I know was going out on Sky TV. I'd have to wait for the snippets of videos that the BBC, the terrestrial TV, would show of skating, and it wasn't a huge sport in our country, so I didn't get to see lots. But I understand then that you'd have to pay to get access to it. But on the flip side of that, I see a lot of the skating community who have had the indulgence of seeing lots of skating for free on streaming, then getting really frustrated that they would have to then pay for the likes of Lombardia Trophy. I can completely understand that frustration because I too want to see Lombardia Trophy, but equally we've got to support the skaters and we've got to support the events. So it's an interesting question. I understand why it has to be paid for.
Yeah, well, no, because what happens in the Lombardia Trophy is not owned by ISU. It's just sort of licensed, if you will, for points, for World Standing Points or a Challenger Series. It's branded that, but they don't own it, they don't run it. It's run by the Federation. So the Federation pays all the bills. And so when it comes to streaming, the Federation can't set up the production, do the camera, do this or do that. They have to hire a company. Well, how the company's going to get paid? Well, the only way the company can get paid that the Federation doesn't have to spend money on is to allow them to charge for it. So that's why those certain events have a fee to it. It's in order to pay for the service to actually make it available, right? So that's why that works like that.
So we'll keep you updated on what's happening with Lombardia. But next question.
Yeah.
From @Gida Oreos, and it's a very serious question, Ted. What is your fave Thai food? So you're out there, you're in Bangkok. What's your favorite Thai food?
Okay, well, right now it's rice because last year when I was here, and the same room I'm broadcasting right now from, and I was really, really hungry, and we had a fridge with some sandwiches in it, and it was a packaged sandwich, and I ate it, and it was like a shrimp sandwich. Well, within 15 minutes, I knew this was not good, and I was so sick that night, and it was the next day we were leaving, and I was going to call ISU and say I can't even get on the plane, but I struggled to the air. I was horrible, and I struggled to the airport, and I made it, and eventually started to feel better. But so I'm wary of, I'm sure it was the shrimp, but I know I'm just eat simple, keep it simple. I'm not a spicy guy. Let me rephrase that. I don't eat spice well, and people probably think, yeah, you're right. You're not a spicy guy. You're kind of dull. I keep away from the spice food, and this year I'm just eating carefully. That's it. That's my story. Sorry, it's boring. It's boring. It's totally boring story.
Keeping it real, though. Keeping it real, Mr. Park.
Yeah.
I I have so many more questions, and there are some like juicy, controversial ones that people obviously want to spark controversy with, but I'm going to save that till later on. The one that I am going to ask you is easy stuff from @Caffeine Canada. Do you still have access to the audio of the technical panel's review?
Yes. But the funny thing is,
what-
because the technical panel, they're great. They come into this. So, did you listen to us? Well, we have access to this to listen to when we want and to discover how are we going to make perhaps this available moving forward with the 2030 version. So this is one of the reasons we have it. We're experimenting with it. But we don't always listen to it because I got to listen to you. You got to listen to me. And okay, here we go. We got group number 2 on the ice. We got to get back to work. Our next team represents Canada, 15-year-old Beau Callahan and 18-year-old Vladimir Furman. A new team within the last year, not competed on the Junior Grand Prix yet, coached by Marc-Andre Craig.
And Coach Marc-Andre was explaining that this team is very much a developmental stage because they've teamed up just so recently. But that said, they had a stellar debut in their short program 2 days ago.
Well, Mark, up until element number 7, that was such a strong program for this team. It's a new team. He's new to pairs, really, but he's a good single skater. So Vladimir is just learning how to use the legs in lifting. He used a lot of his upper body, which is really exhausting, and maybe not as much in the legs, and that's why we had some instability. But other than that, that was a strong performance for this team at their stage of development. Well done.
Yeah, for me watching Beau and Vladimir and knowing that he started pairs 5 months ago, part of me is thinking, how have they got like such amazing costumes and even picking music, even getting the choreography to squeeze everything in, in such a short turnaround is amazing. But also what's amazing to me is that the coach, Marc-Andre, has taught Vladimir for 10 years. He's been coaching him since he was 8 years old, but he's obviously facilitating other opportunities and avenues in the sport for this teenager, and I think that's really cool. You've got a coach that can steer and guide you into different disciplines for your longevity. Competitively.
Mark, don't worry about the costumes. I think they didn't make them. I think somebody else did. So, and somebody else probably did the music. So they just had to work on the skating here. Let's take a look at the twist. Yeah. Here's a good split and pretty good catch, level 2. So 2 out of the 4 features that are available. Here's the double axles. This was solid. Take off at the same time, land at the same time. Same curve on the landing. There's the double flip and the double toe loop and the single axle. So they started out really, really well. And here is this throw triple salchow, swish. Gets the free leg back. Nice. Go ahead, Mark.
That throw triple salchow, when I was looking at them online, their first throw triple together was posted on Instagram on the 5th of June. Mm-hmm. Just to land the first one on the 5th of June, and now they're doing it in competition.
Oh, Beau has a lot of experience, and she's gaining strength and confidence in her single elements as well. But we will see the problem a little bit later. That back inside death spiral is in at a level 2, so they did that pretty well. They've got room for growth here on some of these levels of difficulty. Now let's see how slow that goes up, and he's a little unstable to start this with. Watch his right arm. Goes out to hit it, that elbow bends, and he pushes it back up. So right now that comes in at a base level. So he doesn't get any level of difficulty with that. That lift was broken once those elbows went down. So, but good for him to save it and to keep it going.
Mm-hmm. He's just working through trying to get some more features in the pair combo spin. But I was saying, as Beau and Vladimir complete that program, we were just talking about, how amazing it would be to have a biomechanical study on the markers of the pairs versus the singles, because it's so physically demanding from a total body perspective.
79.23 for Beau and Vladimir. That is first in the free program. Big smile on Vladimir's face right there. With a 125.93 as they currently take the lead. And you can see him going through that. He knew it once those elbows came down and broke. That was a problem for that lift. But great job for a team that has been together for such a short period of time. Our next team represents Italy, 17-year-old Irina Napolitano and 19-year-old Edoardo Comi. They are the Italian junior champions, 12th last season at Junior Worlds.
And this team have had huge success in the past. They were 4th the year before. But what was amazing in warm-up, they just looked so classy. The costumes looked so striking and engaging, and they followed that up with some impressive side-by-side jumping passes. We hope that they have that success now as they start their free skate. Good camaraderie there between Irina Napolitano and Edoardo Comi, representing Italy, and they to me represent so much of the development of Italian pair skating because they bring some ice dance elements and nuances and refinement in their skating, coupling it with some good quality individual skating skills. And although the triple toes weren't as they were in warm-up, this team possesses so much potential for high-tech score on the side-by-sides.
You know, Mark, I wanted to mention about, and I'm not sort of a costume aficionado. We don't talk about costumes a lot, but I mentioned to you at the end here that the costumes matching, particularly from the waist down, both having it accentuated their body line, particularly in the spins. And even on the landings, you can see that looks way more similar because they look similar. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it is a result. We see the Group 5 reverse lift, and that is in at a level 4. So all 4 features. Not a lot of flow here. Your best teams are going to cover a little bit more ice, although not rough. It was well done. I may want to have a little bit more ice coverage and speed into that. There's the throw triple Salchow. Looked great in the air. Maybe too big. Checked out and had more space to wait to touch the ice. Let's take a look here at the throw double Lutz. There it is. Nice. And that Group 3 lift near the end. This was a little bit more problematic, a little rougher turns, a little instability on the turns. He lets go of the hand there. So let's see what he gets on that. Level 3 was just a level 2. So missing 2 of the 4 features there.
Interesting. It's important to acknowledge that their school exams and then injuries and then illness prevented their off-season being as fruitful as they would have liked. But what they bring with their single skating will stand them in such good stead moving forward, as opposed to teams that don't have the triple jump quality that they have individually. Some never get that.
Well, this team looked really good in the first practice. I said, wow, and maybe they haven't had the time to really be in the shape that they want to be in, but it is a quality team with quality skills, and it's early in the season for them, sort of coming back and getting back on track.
But interestingly, we have so many questions that come in on the ISU social media asking us about favorite costumes. Maybe this could be some of the.
I just think this was a very smart costume and looked good, and it helped make them look like a team. 86.20. That is first in the free program with a total competition score of 133.27, as they now take the lead.
This puts them currently in first place. Next
and there's our third team in group number 2, representing Spain. 17-year-old Megan Yudin and 22-year-old Patricio Rossi Lopez. Second last year at Spain's Junior Nationals.
And this team added a big 6.5 points to their short program score that they achieved here compared to their first Grand Prix, hoping for greater success in the free skate now too.
Long
Spain's Megan Yudin and Patricio Romano Rossi Lopez complete their free skate, and like the short program, showing significant improvement from the performance that they debuted in Ankara. I think they're going to be adding a lot more to the score, 65 from that event.
This was the first time I've seen Megan land that triple Lutz. It looked to be on one foot. It could have been a touchdown, but not nearly as rough as it has been in the past. So that was awesome. That's a huge confidence gain for her. So that was well done. Both the short and the free with this team have solidified and come together in a significant way. It's not close to being the very best yet, but it was a significant improvement over the past performances in the Junior Grand Prix, both last year and this year. Let's take a look. Double axles to get that done. And up into this, another double axle. Yeah, it's a little far apart, but hey, 2 double axles, single axle, that was progress made. Here's the throw triple Lutz. I think she didn't touch down. I wish I would have done that in slow motion, but there's the throw triple Sacco. That is a touchdown by both feet, maybe the hand as well. And you see the 5 reverse lift coming up. And it just got a lot rocky. I always find that position, Mark, if, teeter-totter with the girl, if she's moving back up and down, it's really hard to hold that up, but good save. And there we go.
And for Megan and Patricio, it's such a, as Jeff Langdon joins them, such a good example of teamwork. And Coach Megan had explained that they've kept the motivation high and the teamwork was vital. And I think when we saw this team last in the Junior Grand Prix, it was a really tough skate. And 2 weeks' time, the coaches and the environment have obviously made sure that they have resurrected the energy level of the team to be able to go out again and go out with such an improvement. They're going to probably put 20 points on their last pre-skate.
Yeah, and this is really cool because these two will discover, okay, something clicked for them. Something, the coaches, whether it was the coaches or themselves or the combination of the team, something clicked and said, we can do better, and this is what we're going to focus on in order to do that. You saw a different, attitude's maybe not the right word, but a different approach perhaps, confidence, whatever it was, elevated this team to get a lot closer to their capabilities than they were before. And experience, because they're still relatively a new team over the past year and a half or so. Let's take a look at the scores for this team. They had a 72.20, was their best ever in the free program. But this is an 84.94, season's best. Both of them nodding. That's good. That's really good. And that puts them currently in the second place. And they should be very proud of the progress they've made with a 134.04 total competition score. They take the lead. And I think they're internally thrilled.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well done. Our next team represents France. They're both 21 years old, Louise and Matyas. Louise Ehrhard and Matthias Pellegri. They had a 4th and 5th place finish last year in the Junior Grand Prix. So close to the podium.
And Louise, actually, she broke her sacrum at the beginning of the summer, so they haven't trained as much. Look good in the short program as they skate to Memoirs of a Geisha. France's Louise Ehrhard and Matthis Pellegri skate a program that potentially is watered down in terms of its difficulty because of the injury that Louise has had through the off-season. But for me, from the opening transitional content, I was engaged choreographically, and I noticed that the choreographer Pierre-Louis Bouquet is a former French ice dancer, and you could see some of his originality. And also interesting to see a team like Louise and Matthis showcasing originality within the lift feature positions, and that in itself is testament to, the French charisma. Often the French skaters do have
and that choreographic
movement.
That choreographic sequence stood out as the leading one so far in this competition because they were different positions and different types of lifts. So sometimes you can watch a program and you see the choreograph. Oh, isn't that lovely? It's just sort of part of the program. But that stood out as an element because it was a little bit innovative and unique. There's a look at the twist that comes in at a level 2 triple twist. That was nice. And here is the throw. Really nice. It's just double, but really well executed. It looks like that's going to be a simple triple when it's converted. And good pickup on that reverse entry lift and that. Grab the blade feature, one arm, 2 rotations, and then the difficult dismount. And that's a level 4. And this is really interesting. You're talking about the position. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, just to see, so they've got their features, they're working to get their feature to get the level, of course, but just to see that uniqueness of position there, as a junior pair team, it's not often that we would see that. And one other thing which I've just noticed, Ted, is their coach, Lola Esbrach, she's a French pair skater who's a French national champion. She wore that dress that Louise is now wearing, and I love that, to see the coach supporting not just with the technique and the information, but also gifting their dress, passing on generations. So
that's cool.
The community goes on.
Well, they have an 87.97 is their personal best. I think that was earned last season, and we'll see what the score is here. Really good, strong basics for pair skating. 88.85 for Louise and Matyas. That is a first in the free program with a total competition score of 139.92. It seems that every team that comes up, takes over first place. We haven't seen a lot of change yet. But everybody's skating pretty well for the level that they are currently at. And that concludes the first 2 groups. The final group, that'll determine the podium coming up after the ice resurfacing. Mark, and as we go to the ice resurfacing, what video playbacks do we have?
Well, we can look back at our must-watch moments from the first stage of the Junior Grand Prix Series 2025 that took place in Riga and Latvia, and then to the winners in Riga of the pairs event, the winners indeed of both of the pairs events thus far on the Junior Grand Prix, Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov.
Well, we'll take a short break. We hope you enjoy the videos. We'll be back right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Riga, Latvia, and Mark and Ted's must-watch moments from a great week of competition. Mark?
Yeah, opening up the event with the women's competition winner, Mei Akata from Japan. She was a bronze medalist 2 times last year on the Junior Grand Prix series and narrowly missed out on competing at the Junior Grand Prix final. This season, she was utterly golden, and she has said that she hopes to include a triple axel as the season progresses, and we look forward to seeing her continue to develop and improve even more.
And in pairs, Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizera from Canada. What an outstanding performance they had at both the short program and the free program. Lots of injuries last season, but they're completely together this year, and they are a team to be reckoned with.
The must-watch moment from the ice dance competition has to go to the champions from Canada, Leila Villon and Alexander Brandis, who moved up from second place after the rhythm dance to take the title in a narrowly fought competition. Their free dance, the Max Richter piece, was spellbinding, and such brilliant musicality utterly justifies their 15 points and their first step, hopefully, on the way to the Junior Grand Prix final in Nagoya, Japan.
The must-watch moment in the men's event has to go to last year's World Junior Champion Ria Nakata skating to Gladiator and landing 2 quads to start the program. Absolutely brilliant, and a great start to this season as he moves towards another Grand Prix final.
In other must-watch moments, I was so captivated by America's Sherry Zhang. She didn't make the podium at this event, but her short program was a little bit of an homage to a great world champion of the past, Michelle Kwan. She was a 5-time world champion from the United States of America, and Sherry subtly but beautifully gave homage to her movement, and I thought it was a really fitting tribute of a great champion.
And Mark, in my must-watch moment, I'm a little biased on this one. Grayson Long from Canada in the men's short program. He has grown and matured so much in his performance. Absolutely outstanding. His best ever performance and best score of his career.
Eva Yanni, huge congratulations. Now, you've had success on the Junior Grand Prix previously, but obviously last season you've had some bad injuries that sidelined you from competition. Has that been what's motivated you to return even stronger than before?
Yeah, 100%. I think even the competitions that we were able to do last year, not all of them went the way we wanted, so also using that as motivation to come back. Yeah.
And I would say our training has been pretty similar from last year and this year. We've kind of just stayed on top of our injuries a bit more this year and been a little more like proactive with them. And yeah.
Well, we saw huge improvement, and both Ted and I were just remarking on how senior you looked in your delivery of everything that you performed this week in Riga. Is that a consideration? Are you considering to compete in seniors as well this year?
Yeah, we're doing senior domestically this year, so we're kind of using that as our stepping stone into senior.
And the long program, Sandra and David Wilson made it, and obviously they're amazing choreographers, and they really pushed us to kind of skate more into the ice and like more as a pair team instead of thinking about the elements. So we've been working really hard on that, and every competition we went to domestically, Sandra's like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like.
Oh, wow.
Fix it. Yeah, so it was awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because Sandra also gave me a rundown, and even the email showed the detail which this amazing woman obviously gives, and she did mention that you are using a lift by the great Olympic champions Katerina Gordeeva and Sergei Grinkov, and is that, Olympic gold? Is that a goal that you've got for the future to emulate the success of those that you're copying now?
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
I think so. Yeah,
I think it is for everyone.
Yeah, that's everyone's
I think
goal.
really just like looking up to how they're skating and stuff. I mean, they're such amazing skaters, so just trying to replicate that.
So, before your Olympic gold and before senior competition, when will we see you next on the Junior Grand Prix?
We're going to be in Turkey next week, so back-to-back competitions. We're excited, feel ready. Obviously, this competition was a good confidence boost, so
And Coach Kevin and Sandra will definitely be giving you some more for next week, so hopefully it'll be even better. So good luck, guys.
Thank you.
We'd like to give a big thank you to the students from Texas Sumutakan. The following skaters may now take the ice for their 6-minute warm-up. From the United States of America, Sophia Jarmak and Luke Witowski.
Welcome back, everyone, to
From
Bangkok,
the United
Thailand,
States
day
of
number 3 of
America,
competition.
Brady
We are
Moss
in
and
the
Jacob
pairs-free
Gallery.
program. 2 groups have skated. The final group, the battle for the podium, takes place right now. Mark Hanratty joining me from his studio in Nottingham. Mark, do we have some more questions that have come in while we watch the warm-up of this group?
Yes, we do indeed. We have questions, and thank you to the team at the ISU for offering fans the opportunity to engage with us here on the Junior Grand Prix circuit and to ask questions. And I had said in the previous warm-up group that I would tackle some of the serious and controversial questions that have been sent in. The first of which, very important, from @nava.sch10, do you like pigeons?
Yeah, that's a
Good
serious technical question. I can tell you. Do I like pigeons?
And
I've
I
eaten
think
it.
everybody's desperately keen to know your opinion.
I've eaten a pigeon. I ate a pigeon salad in Lyon, France, in a 2,000-year-old part of town there, in a wonderful restaurant. And I wasn't sure what I was eating. They told me it was pigeon. I thought, oh, it's really good. You know, there wasn't a lot of meat, but it was pretty good. So that was tasty, but I don't know about pigeons. Anyways, okay.
I go so far as to say you're not a huge fan of pigeons if indeed you chose to eat them.
Well, I get a sore neck watching them because every time they walk, their neck is going forward, and it's like I don't know how they do it. But anyways, okay.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I will move on to the more serious skating related questions, but I actually really get freaked out by pigeons. So I don't know if this person actually knows who I am and knows that is indeed one of my phobias. Pigeons, they freak me out.
Well, snakes freak me out more. So yeah, okay. All right.
Anyway,
let's go.
moving on. Okay, so the question comes. One of the questions that comes in: what makes a good ice dancer compared to a good singles skater? Now, I suppose we could relate that a little bit more to the event that we're covering now. Perhaps what makes a good single skater versus a really good pair skater.
You know, I think completely aside from the skills, from the skating skills, it's the personality, because you know, when you see a person that just can't stop to move to music, and and they're a little bit of a show off and they love it, they're probably more suited to dance. And when you see one who wants to be thrown like that across the ice, and they have the thrill and skill to fly. And so I think it's, you know, what sort of, thrills you, what kind of entertains you, where's your passion lie? That is the most important, because you can teach skating, but you cannot teach fearlessness in being thrown across the ice. That's just something that's either in you or not in you, right? Or the same thing with musicality. You may not be able to keep to the beat, right, as well. So perhaps pair skating matches you better than ice dancing. That's my thought anyways. You?
So, well, when we're looking at this pairs event, and the question was singles versus ice dance, but for me, the pairs discipline, I always think about the women in the pairs event, so versus the women in the ice dance event. Now, me, as an ice dancer, I have a better understanding of how to connect and engage and work with a female ice dancer. For the pair skaters, I know so many of them. I've worked with them in shows, but I haven't worked as closely as you would in a partnership. Pairs women, to me, though, they just fascinate me because they are such a hybrid of artistry and beauty with athleticism and with strength and resilience, and also they kind of scare me as well because they're just, what kind of human being is happy to be lobbed across?
Well, personally, I think that they are one of the most amazing female athletes in any sport in the world. I really do. If you take a look at what they do and you calculate the risk of what they do, it is extraordinary. So I think they're very, very special, and I love watching it. But I also admire the boy because female cannot do those elements without the stability of the partner, right? So yeah, that's a good point, Mark.
So true. And I mean, when you think about other sports, and we've spoken so readily and candidly about our eagerness to support the athletes globally. We want to ensure that globally our sport is recognized and seen more. If I think of the recent Summer Olympic Games and the recognition that some of the gymnasts get, to me, these pair skaters, it's like they're doing apparatic gymnastic, mental, crazy madness, not just relying on another human being. And that's obviously, if you're working on the beam or if you're working on the bars, there's less variability because they are consistent, whereas a human is not as consistent. But also, knives on the feet, on ice. Like, pair skating, surely this has to be one of the most incredible Olympic sports of all time. And underrated, in my opinion.
I think so. I mean, I really do. But somehow people, I don't know what people think of it. I mean, you let us know, viewers out there listening to this and saying, what do you think of pair skating? What's your impression of it? And what type of person do you think, fits this discipline, and dance and singles as well? So, okay, we ranted on enough about that, I think. Did we?
I think the end upshot of it is we celebrate these guys and their brilliance.
Totally.
Brave brilliance. We also need to talk a little bit, I was just reminded there, we need to talk about some of the other incredible feats that we are likely to see in this event. The split quad twist. Now, there was some controversy because it didn't make the PDF, it didn't make the call in the first Junior Grand Prix of the season for Rico and Yuan Zhang. They performed a quad twist. It was amazing. It didn't come up for them on the score sheet, and there was a mistake there made. Hopefully, we'll see it again, and hopefully we can celebrate it audibly.
It was under-rotated. It was under-rotated, and the panel has the ability to call it as the triple as opposed to the quad. You can argue the case on the rules, and the ICU should change that, but the panel had the right to do that, and that's what they did. I just wanted to clarify that. So, but it was a quad attempt. Let's take a look at the next team representing the United States, Sofia Yarmark and Luke Witkowski. Now, they are tied with their compatriots at 55 points. So this is so important because these two teams will be battling for a podium spot and perhaps a trip to another Junior Grand Prix.
Sophia and Luke were looking good in the warm-up as they skate to Another Love by Tom Odell.
Oh, my tears have been used all on another
America's Sophia Jarmak and Luke Witkowski, and it was so lovely to see that the connection that they had at the end of the program. Obviously, another love track by Tom Odell. It's delicate, it's a soft piece, and they were choreographed to look at each other, but the camera angle allowed us to see we can look at each other with a happiness that this has been a skate so much better than what they had when they competed in Ankara. And I think we have two very happy American skaters on the ice.
Yeah, they finally get to show what they can do, and they're also in the hunt for medals. So this is all pretty exciting stuff, and we'll see how this unfolds. And they've got their colleagues and teammates coming up next. As I said, they're essentially tied. But for this team, it's done. They did what they can do. And they have to throw doubles.
The coach looks equally happy there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's the double twist, nicely done. That's into level 3, so that's really good. For the double, there's the triple toes into double axel on the quarter sequence. And there's the group 5 toe lift, or axle lift, pardon me. That's in the group 4. It's a little bit slower, but they get it done well. And here is the triple Salchows. Good work to fight through that. And that group 3 lift, nice position up there. Pretty good flow here. You want to get more ice coverage in time. You see, when you go right towards the boards, then you have to cut around the corner. You will lose your speed there, and you kind of want to have that speed flow all the way through that lift. And there's the pair combination split at the end. That comes in level 3. And right at the end
Scrambling
here.
to try and get those 2 rotations in the lift.
Exactly.
But the team, I remember when we saw them in Ankara, they were showcasing in warm-ups their individual prowess and their skating and their jumping. And then in Ankara, they had falls on both of the side-by-side elements, which I think were ordinarily their strengths. So they had 4-point deduction for falls in Ankara and the free skate. So this performance will be so different points-wise. It was 77 points 2 weeks ago. It's going to be a huge, huge improvement.
Yeah, and that smile that she's wearing right now will be bigger, I hope, for Sophia. Isn't it nice? It's such a great feeling for them, obviously, but for us to watch them come off the ice satisfied, gratified in what they had achieved, no matter what these scores are, but they should be happy with these scores as well.
Sophia Jarmak and Luke Witkowski from the United States.
94.66. Wow. Luke is pretty clear whether he likes it. That's a season. His first with a total competition score 149.66. That puts them in the lead. 3 teams to come, and they are thrilled. But now they have to wait.
The winning kiss and cry reaction so far of the event, I think, as well, with Carrie, their coach, too.
It was great in the short program, too. He had a great.
Representing the United
Now their teammates. They're tied with Regimas, Jacob Galbavi, 17 and 19 years old, second junior Grand Prix. They competed in Ankara week number 2, coming just off the podium in the 4th.
Regan Moss and Jakub Galbavy from the United States of America
From the
complete
United
what
States
has
of
been
America,
a marathon of events for this team. After Ankara, they went to the John Nicks International Pair Competition, which they won, and won with a pretty big 99-point free skate in that event. They must be exhausted, Ted, not just with the international travel, the time changes, the differences, but the grueling schedule of competitions, and now they get some well-deserved rest.
Yeah, I think what makes it so exhausting. It's exciting for these young skaters. It's exciting for everyone. But what makes it exhausting is the emotional part of it. The excitement and sometimes the disappointment and sometimes the joy. As we see the Group 3 lift, starting the opposite direction, then get going in the counterclockwise. Really good turns. Look at the flow, so smooth. Doesn't take a tight corner out of there. That was a great pattern. Covered a lot of ice. There's the throw triple Salchow. 2-foot landing. That's a minus 1.57. So they had to take points away from the base value because the quality was poor. That's called the GOE. Back outside death spiral. Nice position here, Mark, and that comes in level 3. So 2 rotations on the ice, difficult entry. Nice.
Yeah, good position, good tension. And I'm just now wondering, because for Regan and Jakub, there are so many implications of the competition because of the Junior Grand Prix final. I was expecting that they were obviously, I was aware that they'd be hoping for a medal to have the potential to qualify for the final, but then there are other implications because they've got an American team now to stay ahead of, and all of the repercussions of that throughout the season because of the consideration for Junior World Championships and the national title later on. So it's a lot for these young people to have pressure and
you don't want them
on their shoulders.
You actually don't want them to be thinking about any of that. So you probably downplay it as the coach and everybody. But in the end, these kids, they know, and they're trying to stay in the moment at the same time, wondering, gee, maybe if I do this, I can get that, and But you know what? That's life. That's you put your own pressure on yourself, and trying to balance that out is a skill, and it takes time to learn that.
Kudos to their coach Trudy for supporting them across different oceans, different continents. So that's 3 different continents in 3 different weeks almost?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing.
It's a lot. 91.49, that's the season's best, but as they can see on the board, it's second in the free program. But the total score, same thing, 146.74. That'll put Regan and Jakub currently into second place. You can see the disappointment of the numbers. They were happy with the skate, but they fall just a little bit short as they drop down 1 spot, 2 teams to come. Our next team represents China, 14-year-old Ryu Gu and 18-year-old Yiwen Zhang. And they were China's junior champions and 3rd in senior last season. They won silver in Ankara.
Keep your eyes peeled for what could well be an opening quadruple twist.
Some people long for a life that is simple and planned, tied with a ribbon. Some people won't sail the sea 'cause they're safer on land. To follow what's written, but I'd follow you to the great unknown, off to a world we call our own. And in my hand, and you promised to never let go. We're walking a tightrope high in the sky. We can see the whole world down below. We're walking a tightrope, never sure where you catch me if I should fall with you. Oh, with you.
I drank champagne with kings and queens. The politicians praised my name. But those are someone else's dreams, the pitfalls of the man I became. For years and years, I chased their cheers, a crazy speed of always needing more. But when I stop and see you here, I remember who all this was for. And from now on, we will come back home, and we will come back home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home again. And we will come back home, we will come back home, yes, from now
China's Rui Guo and Yiwen Zhang opening with quad twist, and not just a quad twist, a quad twist at level 3. So just an amazing achievement in the opening element, and it has to be celebrated, acknowledged, and revered.
Yeah.
You know what, Ted? Many have said before that it's not even given a high enough base value for what it is. It's a quad twist is just 1.7 points higher than a triple twist, but it's a feat that so few achieve, and it has to be celebrated.
That element is worth 9.1 points on this with this team. So they start out with the first element. They got 9 points, right? That was amazing. Well, we'll take a look at it in super slow motion as we approach this, so you can count the revolutions here. Here we go. There's the split. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, and the catch. There it is.
And justifying that level 3 as well.
Yeah, level 3. It's awesome. And here's, Chinese rocket
Oh, it's gone down.
launched.
It's gone down.
Boom.
Whee.
So the twist went down to level 1.
Yeah, initially it was a 3, and now I've just
Yeah.
spotted
I think the
balance
catch
corner.
was a bit of an issue there. The hands go down on the throw triple loop. Group 4 reverse, but forward takeoff, most difficult. Great ice coverage here, length of the rink. That was lovely. That's in at a level 4, of course, with a 1.60 GOE added to the base value because of the quality.
And this team finishing, the only team thus far not to finish with the pair combo spin. Every other team has finished with the pair combo spin.
Yep.
This team choosing to use the choreo sequence as their final elements. A little bit different composition, which we respect from the teams. Don't play ball with the conventional order of elements.
Personal best at 101.29 for this team. How close will they come to that score? Earning that, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago. As they anxiously wait for this. Sorry.
I was just thinking, Ted, that should they achieve another silver medal, that would be 13 more points, and that would almost I need to do the math and double check, but I'm pretty sure that would assure them a spot at the final.
Your chances are really, really good with 26 points. So we'll take a look. There are only 4 pair events out of the 7 Junior Grand Prix events because there's not that many teams. And so, with 26 points, lots can happen. Anxiously waits and squeezes that little toy. 105.47, that is first in the free program, and of course they'll be first with a 163.03. They will take at least the silver. We'll see maybe if they move up into the gold, but either way, they've just put themselves in a very good position to receive that ticket to Nagoya in the Junior Grand Prix final. But that has yet to be determined over one more event coming up in Gdansk. Our next team in first, after the short program from Canada, Jasmine DeRoche and Kieran Thrasher, 17 and 21 years of age. This team had a very good years last season. placing 5th in senior, and of course 3rd at the Junior Grand Prix final. Mark.
And Jasmine and Kieran keeping the same skate as last year, Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin. Jasmine Desrochers and Kieran Thrasher striving to try to keep the lead ahead of the advancing Rui Guo and Yuan Zhang from China. Well, they have done enough, and it's their program component scores undoubtedly will be stronger than the Chinese team in my mind. Their speed, their flow, their ice coverage, the connection between the team and all of that stronger, but two falls, and they have costly implications and consequences.
And you know, I think it's funny because this music is not easy to do. I mean, it's really bluesy, and you know, you've got all those technical elements to do, and then you've got moments that you can really get into the program, but then you have some mistakes that break the spell. You know, it's really difficult. And let's take a look at the elements here. Triple twist comes in at level 3. It was already in a level 4. It was reviewed and downgraded to 3. It was still pretty good. And there's the double axles. First set, good. Jasmine had a good one there. They do the single axle. Then I didn't know they're doing this double axle at the end, and she comes around the corner just a little bit and looks stand up. Has to take the fall on that, unfortunately. But she's improved her jumps. Just a challenge there in the second one. They throw triple loop, and that was a little rough, so minus GOE on that. And here is the one throw here that takes the fall back on the heel to get that free leg back. And so that was costly as well. But they have to be some of the best, if not the best lifts on the JGP. Just cover ice so beautifully in wonderful positions as well.
And they do. This team just they have such a captivating connection between them. Kieran just seems like this really stoic, solid energy presence, and Jasmine is just such a wonderful performer. But somehow, you know, she gives more than he does in the presentation, which is often the case from the woman to the man. But he just frames her in a really special way.
Yeah, they've got some magic. They still have some work to do. There's no question. Let's take a look at the score, 101.61. That's second, of course, in the free program, and that'll end up putting them into the silver medal position. The total competition score of 160.65. They grabbed the silver. That's okay. They still got another competition coming up. They just want to get themselves to the Junior Grand Prix final. The Chinese team does move up from silver last time out to take the gold here. No, I guess they got the gold before, did
Ladies
they?
and gentlemen, we will be taking a
No, they were second.
Oh, they were second. Okay, that's right. That's right.
Canada and China again.
That's right. There we go. Wow. There's the results. The Chinese team takes the title. The Canadians and 2 American teams follow after that. And there's a look at the rest of the field. So interesting competition, no question, and more to come. We have one more pair competition coming up in Gdansk, and I think there's something like 21 teams, so there's a lot of teams in that competition. It'll be interesting. That concludes our coverage of the pairs free program, the first medal event completed, and up next will be the women's free program, and I can guarantee you the last few groups in that event will be spectacular. It'll be a battle for the podium, no question. For all of us here at the ISU, I'm Ted Barton with Mark Hanratty. We hope you've enjoyed this coverage. We hope that you will join us for the women's free.